I have incredibly fond memories of playing Tekken games when I was a kid, so with Tekken 8 releasing, I decided to return to the franchise after many years. All I can say is, I've been missing out. I guess you could say my love for Tekken has been resurrected, or should I say, dark resurrected. Hi, I'm Cobble and I want to start off by saying I'm horrid at fighting games, and I apologize for any of my basic or nauseating gameplay you'll see in this video. My first introduction to the Tekken franchise took place on my cousin's attic room. The year was 2004, my brother and I had just gotten a PlayStation 2 from our uncle, and we were thrilled to be playing Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, and The Incredibles. Those were our favorite games at the time. Our cousin, though, also had a PlayStation 2, and one day when we visited, he let us play Tekken 4. We didn't get into any of the story and just brawled in matches against each other, taking turns, and we had the best time. A love for Tekken was born. I vaguely remember picking Yoshimitsu against my cousin, who picked Brian. I had never played and absolutely destroyed him, although I'm pretty sure he let me win. We had such a good time playing Tekken 4 that my brother and I ended up buying Tekken 5 when it came out on PlayStation 2 in 2005. In this one, we did play a little bit of the story mode, but from what I remember, we didn't really pay a lot of attention to it beyond, hey, these fights are fun. The way we played Tekken 5 was mostly the way we had treated Tekken 4 when visiting our cousin. We'd boot it up, battle each other, and had a great time. Tekken 5 was such a step up though, because I was beyond impressed with it at the time. There were over 30 characters to choose from, and you could customize them, which you couldn't do in the previous game. This was also the first game in which Devil Jin was a fully playable character, and oh my god, Jin Kazama and Devil Jin had such a chokehold on me. And back in the day, I used to think that the only reason for that was because I thought he was just so cool. Now, however, I've realized that my bisexuality probably had something to do with that as well. Regardless of hot devils, my love for Tekken grew. But it didn't peak just yet. Cut to September 2006. My brother and I had gotten our hands on a PlayStation Portable, which I have to say I still think is one of the best handheld consoles to have ever existed. Tekken Dark Resurrection released, and we immediately got it. Now, this is basically the same game as Tekken 5, but on PlayStation Portable, with some noticeable enhancements. But for me, this was the peak Tekken experience. I loved it so much, and I think I ended up putting in well over 200 hours total. This time around, I did pay attention to the story, but as fans of the franchise probably know, if you know next to nothing and only start paying attention in the 5th game, you're gonna be a bit confused. Regardless, I loved everything about it, down to the bowling minigame. I don't care what anyone says, it was the best thing ever. I probably spent as much time in that bowling minigame as I did actually fighting. It was simply amazing being able to play Tekken on the go. It was an absolute game changer for me. And there was something so satisfying to rise through the ranks from beginner toward Divine Fist, which I obviously never got to. I think the highest rank I could reach was about Berserker or Destroyer, which was about halfway through the ranks, but still, I had tons of fun playing with that variety of characters, and I don't know, the thrill of battle you feel in Dark Resurrection was truly something special, though I might remember it more intensely due to nostalgia more than anything else. After that, I kind of dropped off. At a certain point, I stopped playing and I never got Tekken 6 or Tekken 7. I always thought, oh yeah, those games were fun, but ended up not buying the new one when it came out. And I don't really know why that happened to this day. Until a couple of weeks ago when I bought Tekken 8. It probably had to do with the fact that I simply started playing different games on PlayStation 3 And as soon as Minecraft came out, well, let's just say I was slightly obsessed with that for years. Sometimes we can get completely captivated by something for a period of time and then trade it easily for something else in an instant. And sometimes, sadly, it happens with things we truly love. A couple of weeks ago, I felt really sick, and the only thing I could do was watch TV. Maybe a movie and YouTube videos, and then I suddenly fell into a YouTube rabbit hole. You know how it goes. I accidentally took a deep dive into the full history of the main storyline of Tekken, and my goodness, how did I miss all of this? What I perceived as merely a slightly silly but badass fighting game has so much more to it than that. The story of Tekken is one about family. A family feud, to be exact, between 3 and at times 4 generations of the Mishima family, from Jinpachi to Heihachi to Kazuya to Jin and beyond. It's a wild ride too, and everything revolves around different editions of the King of the Iron Fist tournament. While some things are absolutely ridiculous, like genetically modified bears, kangaroos, and velociraptors throwing their hat into the ring, or people that should most definitely be dead returning to the land of the living no problem, the core of that story, the perpetual violence of the Mishima family and its Zaibatsu, mixed with the pursuit of power, whether physical or financial, combined with the lore surrounding the devil gene being passed down through generations, and the expansive cast of other characters, and how this all impacts them, their stories, and the world they all live in. Not to mention the way they play with how characters can be heroes in one game and a villain in the next. It's honestly quite interesting and awesome. If I had known about this story with ridiculousness and all, I think I would have kept buying the games, and that's what I think makes Tekken special. It has such a dark and twisted story at its core, but it balances it out with the silliest shit you've ever seen in your life, and I think that's beautiful. I'm not great at fighting games at all, especially Tekken. However, for some reason, I found my way back to the franchise with the latest installment, and I'm excited to see where it'll go next. It holds a special place in my heart from a nostalgia standpoint, but even now I find incredible enjoyment in hopping on, brawling with friends, or even against CPUs, and playing through the main storyline. And now that I'm up to date on the lore surrounding these wild and sometimes silly characters, I love them all the more. See you in Tekken 9.